Hello folks and welcome to the video. Okay, the Mars Gauss. I believe that's how you pronounce it. What we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at the overall design of this machine, and then we're going to have a look at what's inside the control box. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay, let's have a look at the control box, shall we? Right, here we go. We've got a nice little cog icon up here, and that is your settings, your usual stuff. I'm in gain at the moment. It's on 1, as you can see there, the number 1, because I'm in the house. Obviously, it goes up a lot higher than that. So that's your sensitivity, your gain. Hit the cog and we come across to discrimination, standard stuff. And then you've got your frequencies. Now you've got 5 levels in low, 16 kilohertz, and you've got 5 levels. You've got your yellow toggles down here, look, left and right. You've got 5 levels in your high, which is your 48 kilohertz. Now, one thing I will say about this is where you have to read the manual to understand a little bit more. L1 is 50% less power to the coil. L2 is 25% less power. And then you've got 3 more choices in full power, should you want to try and get away from interference. You've got a bit of a frequency shift. But within those 5, there are subtle differences. The first 2 are lower power settings for when the conditions are really bad, either the soil or the surrounding area. And then you get up to your full powers, and then you've got 3 shifts above 1 and 2. So there is a little bit more to the frequencies than just 1 to 5. The first one, L1, and the second one, L2, are increments with reduced power, and then you get on to kind of the full Monty, which obviously most of the time you'll be able to use, I'm sure. Then you've got your search. Search conditions is another one you're going to have to get used to. This is quite interesting. You've got low, and then you've got no, and then you've got high, and then you've got high with a capital H. So these all refer to different speeds. These are a little bit like reactivities. So when you've got trashy areas and that kind of thing, your lows and your nos, greater detection depth with your low. So you're going to go deeper with your low. No is most suitable for detecting in all not wet and weakly magnetic soils, the book says. And then high and high with a capital H are good options in heavily mineralized soil and places where there's lots of trash and lots of quantities of metal. So I think that this is Mars's way of saying these are your reactivity speeds. So basically low is for your clean ground and better depth. That's what you'd use for pasture. And then if you're getting in amongst the trash, you're going to start playing around with higher ones like this. Noisier sites, places with a bit more reaction from the soil. So that's basically what that is. But it's quite easy. I mean, you're going to have it in low and go for better depth probably most of the time. And then you're going to whack it over when you hit the iron and the nails and the ancient sites, I guess. That's certainly the way I read it from looking in the book. It's just another way of doing the reactivity from what I can see. And then you've got your modes. Now, they recommend you leave it in AN all the time, whenever you can. That is analog, and it's a kind of simple analog deduction of the target. Now, when I say analog, this is still a machine with processors and a rechargeable battery, but it's still using a kind of analog style detection tone. And it's very, very good, obviously. So leave it in that whenever you can, because that's what they tell you to do. And then I'm going to say to you now, read the manual to understand CL and CL with a capital C. It's not worth me trying to completely explain that to you now, but it's to do with signal processing, and when you need a little bit more, and when you want a little bit more, and it's kind of a slower search. I won't go into lots of details, but all you need to know when you pick up the machine is that's what's recommended, to use this mode as your main one. AN. Put it in AN and use it as your main one. The two other modes use additional digital signal processing. It's called Clear ID technology. It's a specially developed thing by Mars, apparently. And if you want to know more about why you use CL and what the advantages are, then as I say, you use it with a slow swing. It has got advantages apparently, but it's quite technical, and it's all to do with a different style of detection and something that goes in the memory of the machine. But as I say, Mars tell you to use that one the most. So what I would say is use that as your starter for 10. And if you want to know more about the CL modes, they're there. It's more advanced technology. You'll have to read up on it, but I'm not going to try and explain it all to you now. There's your volume, obviously, and then good old FE volume. Can't beat iron volume. I love metal detectors with iron volume, and this one's got it. So there you go. They say always keep it a couple of notches lower than your main volume, which makes sense because your iron volume is slightly lower. You've got the buzzes in the background and your good targets coming through. That's how most people run them, but it's always good to see iron audio or iron volume on a detector. And trans is for your headphones. So there's your main menu. There's your main things to change around with. Nothing too complicated, just a couple of little things within the way Mars do their thing that you have to get used to, but nothing that you're not going to find easy to get used to. It's a clever machine, but it's not difficult to operate. On top of that, of course, you've got your ground balance, you've got manual, and you've got automatic ground balance. You've got your pinpoint function on this machine as well. So, you know, there's no shortage of what it can do. It's got all the good stuff. It's not lacking anything. And then, as I say, it's quite a nice, easy machine to use in the menus and just go through. There's a lot of stuff in here that for a lot of the time you'll put it in. You'll soon find what your favourites are, and you won't move it. And like most detectors, really, you'll tweak them up and down a little bit, left and right a little bit, when you get certain situations. Other than that, you probably won't do a lot because you'll find what works for your fields and most of your scenarios. So there you go. Just a quick look at the control box. Nothing too heavy, but there are a couple of things in the manual that you really need to read and understand before you play a little bit more with a couple of the buttons. Okay, folks, hope you enjoyed that. Please do use all the links below for metal detectors online. If you've got any questions about the Gauss, then please do email them to us, or you can ask me questions in the actual body of the video as well. Right, folks, until the next time, good luck, happy hunting, and we'll see you soon.